What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here with your $1,400 third stimulus check update and daily news report. We're getting close to the finish line on the third stimulus check package. I'm going to give you the latest details of that in this video, what to expect, and we're also going to hear from House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, as well as a feud between former President Donald Trump and Mitch McConnell that is starting to turn into a war. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss out on new updates on the third stimulus check package, which includes $1,400 stimulus checks, a $400 per week unemployment bonus, $3,000 to $3,600 checks for children as an increase of the child stimulus checks that will be paid in monthly amounts of $250 to $300 per month. We also cover student loan forgiveness on this channel and Social Security increases and mortgage and rental assistance. So make sure to subscribe and hit the like button for us down below. It really helps out our channel. All right, here we go. Former President Donald Trump is ready to make Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell's life miserable after Mitch McConnell basically called him out twice after the impeachment voting. Mitch McConnell actually voted not to impeach him, but then gave two different speeches afterwards saying that basically former President Donald Trump did incite the insurrection, but nonetheless he voted for him to be not guilty. But Mitch McConnell went on to basically scathe him in interviews afterwards, saying it was his fault and he did do it. And well, if you know former President Donald Trump at all, he's pretty pissed.
We're also tracking reaction to former President Trump's scathing, brutal new statement attacking the Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. I want to get an update now from CNN's Ryan Nobles. He's joining us from Capitol Hill. Ryan, what does this tell you? What does it tell our viewers about the hold that Trump still has over the Republican Party?
Well, if we had any question whether or not the Republican Party is in the midst of a civil war, all those questions were answered today after this scathing statement from the former president directed at Mitch McConnell, the Republican leader in the Senate, and someone who has been a loyal ally of the president over his 4 years in office. This is the statement that Trump released, at least a part of it earlier today. It said, quote, "The Republican Party can never again be respected or considered to be strong with political leaders," in quotes, like Senator Mitch McConnell at its helm. Mitch is a dour, sullen, and unsmiling political hack, and if Republican senators are going to stay with him, they will not win again. And this is the important part. Where necessary and appropriate, I will back primary rivals who espouse Make America Great Again and our policy of America First. And this Trump statement comes after a series of attacks by Mitch McConnell against the former president. He, of course, did vote to acquit the president in the impeachment trial last week, but then he went to the floor of the Senate and gave a blistering attack on Trump's conduct on January 6th. And then he followed it up with an op-ed that ran in the Wall Street Journal this morning. And this is a part of what that op-ed said. It said, quote, "There is no question former President Trump bears moral responsibility. His supporters stormed the Capitol because of the unhinged falsehoods he shouted into the world's largest megaphone. His behavior during and after the chaos was also unconscionable, but impeachment is not some final moral tribunal," which is suggesting to a certain extent that perhaps the former president could be facing some sort of criminal charge. The big point here, though, Wolf, is it is clear now that McConnell and Trump have taken sides and they are willing to go to battle on the political playing field in the upcoming 2022 midterms. This is a worst case scenario for Republicans as they attempt to unify and win back control of both the House and the Senate. Their biggest problem, though, is going to come in these Republican primaries where the president, the former president, making it clear now that he is going to be involved in this process and take on Republicans who are not explicitly loyal to him and his agenda. It's going to make the next 2 years very interesting for Republicans here on Capitol Hill.
Wow. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. It's kind of weird because a lot of people blame Mitch McConnell for losing the Senate because if we go back now about a month ago or so, Mitch McConnell, they passed the Cash Act that came from former President Donald Trump to increase the $600 stimulus checks to $2,000, which was another $1,400 check. That came directly from former President Donald Trump. Remember, he didn't want to sign the second stimulus check package because he thought the $600 stimulus checks were too low and that they should be increased to $2,000. Well, the Democrats took that and ran with it. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi passed it in the House of Representatives. They actually got bipartisan support on it. They got dozens of Republicans to say yes to that. Then it went to the Senate, and Mitch McConnell tabled it. He literally didn't even vote on it. He sent it to his, quote, famous graveyard where he sends bills to die. Even though it passed the House and it came from former President Donald Trump's wishes, he just didn't vote on it. Well, a week later, they had the Georgia Senate runoff races, and the Republicans lost both of those seats, which lost Mitch McConnell the lead of the Senate and the Republicans. And now we are with the Democrats controlling the House, the Senate, and the presidency. So it's weird that Mitch McConnell is like blaming former President Donald Trump, but Mitch McConnell is blamed by most people for losing the Senate. Either way, the Republican Party is in a bit of a war between itself right now. Luckily, they have about 2 years to figure it out before the next vote in the House or the Senate, which is going to be very razor tight. Senator Bernie Sanders said if the Democrats don't step up and do everything they need to over these next 2 years, that history shows that they will lose the House or the Senate, and they have in the past if they don't put up or shut up. Speaking of that, here is House Speaker Nancy Pelosi on the third stimulus package details and what they're working on right now.
At the same time, I'm so proud of the work of our members, the chairs of the committees of jurisdiction, the members, the staff. I feel as if we've worked the staff 24/7 for a number of weeks now to make sure that we stay on schedule with the American Rescue Plan, the Biden plan. It is, as you know, a couple of weeks ago, we passed the budget bill for reconciliation to protect the 51 vote privilege. Then last week, we wrote up the bill within that framework, within different committees of jurisdiction, honoring their amounts. And then that now has gone to the Budget Committee, which will consolidate all of that, make sure that it is, again, in keeping with what reconciliation allows. And that will then go to the Rules Committee for us to vote on. However, at the same time, there's communication with the Senate as to what the Byrd Rule will allow in the bills as we go forward. So that's kind of where we are on that. And people have worked so hard and so intensely because, as I said to the members, when we have been briefing them the last few days, we've had under leadership of our chair, Hakeem Jeffries, and Pete Aguilar, the vice chair. Every day we've had the chairs present what is in the bills, not for suggestions of amendment, but for notification of this is what the overall reconciliation enables us to do, and this is how we are going forward. So I'm very, very proud of their work.
So what she's saying there, and remember that this process has taken longer than last time because, well, in a way, I mean, it took them, 9 months to pass the second stimulus check bill, which passed at the end of December. So it's moving faster because, we're going to pass it here in February, but it didn't take 9 months. But I know a lot of people want it immediately. But what they have done is, as she said, they passed the reconciliation portion, which is that front portion of the bill that they have to pass, that extra part of the legislation, as she said, to protect the 51 vote process. Without that, they wouldn't be able to pass this bill at all because the Republicans in the Senate have not voted for it at all. We've had some preliminary votes on the reconciliation process, and not a single Republican voted yes on the third stimulus check package. So luckily, they have to do this because if the Republicans had won one Senate seat in those Georgia Senate runoff races, then the Republicans would have the majority, and, well, we'd be having a different discussion. We would probably be talking about a much, much smaller stimulus package. Remember, we've seen the Republicans offer a $600 billion stimulus package, which actually did include $1,000 stimulus checks, so that was pretty decent, but that's about 1/3 of the size of the $1.9 trillion package that's coming out now, which includes, as we know, $400 unemployment extension, $1,400 stimulus checks for adults, $1,400 stimulus checks for children, and $1,400 stimulus checks for adult dependents and child and college students this time around. And there's that child tax credit, which is $3,000 to $3,600 that is going to come to you guys in the form of monthly stimulus checks. The $3,000 will be for children 6 through 17, which will basically be $250 checks or direct deposits sent to you directly starting in a few months from now after they pass this. They need some time to get it ready, get the system ready. But $250 per month for children 6 through 17, which is $3,000, and $300 per month for children under the age of 6, which is $3,600. This is in addition to $25 billion in mortgage and rental assistance, utility assistance, and property tax assistance, as well as another increase in SNAP, WIC, and EBT programs. There's a lot of different things in this program. And if Mitch McConnell was still the leader of the Senate, not that I'm Republican or Democrat, but we would just be having a very different discussion right now as opposed to the Democrats passing it completely on their own and passing a package that is 3 times as large as what the Republicans put out. And honestly, the Republicans put that out. It didn't come from Mitch McConnell directly. It came from Mitt Romney and a smaller group of senators that weren't Mitch McConnell. But they kind of put that out as like kind of a last resort, like, hey, we don't want to spend that much money, so this is what we would be willing to spend. They might not have even have put that out at all if Mitch McConnell was the Senate Majority Leader. They might have said, oh, no, we need to wait. We need to see what's going to happen. We just passed that second stimulus check package. People are still getting their checks literally today and yesterday and the day before. So we got to wait and see how that's going to be. So, yeah, very different discussion. They are going to pass this third stimulus check package pretty much no matter what. As we heard from Nancy Pelosi say, they've passed the budget reconciliation process. And then, if I recall correctly, she said they have now completed the subcommittee work. All of that is done. Remember, there's 12 different subcommittees that are writing the bill. These bills are like thousands of pages long. And now it has gone to the Congressional Budget Office to put it all together and to make sure that they can pass it through the reconciliation process. Remember that the $15 an hour minimum wage is currently included in this third stimulus check package. And that is going to be a potential hurdle because there's a couple things that need to happen. Number one, the Congressional Budget Office and the Senate parliamentarian, there's a lady in the Senate who's called the parliamentarian, who gets to decide whether or not all of the things in this bill can be passed through the budget reconciliation process. So if the one kind of big hurdle there is the $15 an hour minimum wage, the Democrats are trying to pose it as saying, yes, it does affect the United States budget, even though in a way it does, but in a way it doesn't, because the U.S. isn't actually paying any of the minimum wage increase, but it does affect the budget in a way. So the Democrats are trying to slide that through, so they have to make it through the Congressional Budget Office and the parliamentarian saying yes, they can include the $15 an hour minimum wage. But then the other thing is they need all the Democrats in the Senate to say yes. If one of the Democrats in the Senate, such as Kristen Sinema or Joe Manchin, say no, they're not willing to vote for the $15 an hour minimum wage, then they're going to have to take that portion out or negotiate on it and pass it without the $15 an hour minimum wage or pass it with a smaller minimum wage increase. Now remember, as you can see here on the screen, the $15 an hour minimum wage does not go up to $15 immediately. It actually takes like 5 years to get there. When they do pass it, it would go up by $2.25 immediately to $9.50 as opposed to $7.25. A lot of states are already past the minimum wage because you can pass a higher minimum wage on the state level, but about 40% of the United States is at $7.25. The other big thing is the tipped wages. So people that work at restaurants such as server, which I used to be many, many years ago, they're still at $2.13 and have been there for, I don't even know, like forever. They're going to basically more than double their wages instantly. Now it's $2 and what is that, about 80 cents, 83, 82 cents there that they're going to increase. So it's more than double, but it's not like amazingly amount more. But what you will see is that tipped wages, such as restaurant servers, will make it to $15 an hour by 2026 and 2027. along with youth wages and 14C wages. So everybody under this proposed plan, if it passes in the package, will be at $15 an hour minimum wage by 25 or 2026. But I could possibly see restaurant servers maybe not getting as much tips as they do down the line. I could see maybe a potential change there. But if they did still get, say, their 15 to 20% tips on top of $15 an hour, that would kind of make a restaurant server a more desirable job than it is now, where now a restaurant server makes $2.13 an hour and makes 15 to 20% tips on average. Imagine making $15 an hour plus 15 to 20% tips on average. It would make that a much more desirable job. However, it also would raise the costs of pretty much everything. And that's why we're seeing a couple Democrats from the Senate say they're not willing to do that. Senator Joe Manchin from West Virginia said that he would be willing to go to $11 an hour, which is still a 50% increase from $7.25 in his state of West Virginia. But then, just about a day or so ago, he said that he would be willing to vote yes on anything as long as the Senate deems it legal to pass it, basically saying the parliamentarian says, yes, it's okay for us to pass this bill with the reconciliation process. And technically, even if the parliamentarian says no, they can actually still pass that because the Senate president, who's actually the vice president, Kamala Harris, can overrule her. Okay, so the Democrats really could cram that through if they wanted to. But I think that Joe Manchin or Kristen Sinema, if the parliamentarian said no, they won't be able to get the $15 an hour minimum wage. If the parliamentarian says no, then they can't do it at $15 or $11 an hour because, well, they're basically saying that you can't do that through the budgetary reconciliation process. So then they're going to have to try to do that through a standalone bill. And a standalone bill probably won't pass because if they can't do it through the reconciliation process where they only need 51 votes, then they're going to need 60 votes. So that means they're going to need 10 Republicans. And to do that, they're going to have a much smaller increase. Now, it's a possibility maybe the Republicans would vote on a small minimum wage increase. I don't see, well, I can't really say why the Republicans wouldn't vote on it, but I could see some Republicans saying, yeah, we're due for a small increase, maybe from $7.25 to $10 or $11 an hour over the course of the next few years. I could see that on the horizon, but that's kind of the details that we're dealing with right now with the third stimulus check. Nancy Pelosi says it's finished the subcommittee process and now has moved on to the next process. So we should be getting the final bill here today or tomorrow and then voting on it in the House of Representatives. I will keep you updated. We're going to have a lot of big news coming out. Make sure to subscribe down below and click the bell icon so you get notifications when new videos come out. We have new videos coming out every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., 8 p.m., and 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Along with the third stimulus check and the third stimulus package, we talk about the Social Security increase of $200 per month, which could be coming out in the future, student loan forgiveness of $10,000 to $50,000, which has been very, very big hot news right now, along with mortgage and rental assistance and more. So share this video with your family and friends, and you can click this top video here to watch my newest stimulus check video next. And this video teaches you how to start your own business selling products on Amazon FBA. I have dozens of students that have replaced their 9-to-5 income selling products on Amazon, and I teach them how to do that. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.